Swiggity swag, what's in the bag? Jay here, and I'm bringing you guys another top 5 video, and this time this is my top 5 Hoenn Pokemon that I believe should get evolutions or pre-evolutions in Pokemon X and Y. Now keep in mind that this list is fully opinionated, so you are in no obligation to agree with my opinion, but as long as you respect my opinion, I will respect yours. And if you do not agree with my opinion, then please feel free to leave your own top 5 in the comments section below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. So the Pokemon who hits number 5 on this list is Torko, and Torko is on my list mainly because I want to see Torko evolve and also have a pre-evolution. I feel that Torko obviously has a ridiculously high defense stat, and I feel that, you know, a pre-evolution would suit it more than an evolution, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to see Torko evolve, because after 3rd gen, Torko got no kind of love whatsoever, while other completely random Pokemon got evolutions and pre-evolutions. Dusclops being one of those Pokemon who has a really high defense and special defense stat got an evolution of Dusknoir, so I still feel like Torko has some room to evolve, and it has a lot of potential to have a pre-evolution because, like I said before, it has a really high defense stat, and I feel that Pokemon should be able to work up to like a really high stat like that. So that's how I feel about Torko. So the Pokemon who's number 4 on my list is Baynet, and Baynet is on my list because I treat Baynet and Dusclops as a duo. Like, I'm not going to include Sableye in this because Sableye is part dark type as well, but as for pure ghost type in 3rd gen, Dusclops and Baynet are a duo in my mind. Like, they're both together in my mind. But in Gen 4, only Dusclops got an evolution of Dusknoir, while Baynet was just there to, you know, kind of rot, I guess. Now, I'm not saying Baynet is a bad Pokemon, because by no means it's not a bad Pokemon, but I feel that if, in my mind, like I said, they're a duo. So if they're a duo, one can't evolve without the other. So I feel that Baynet should evolve just based on the fact that Dusclops was able to evolve, and Dusclops has really high defense and special defense stats, and it still got an evolution, while Baynet, I mean, Baynet has some pretty decent stats, but there's still room for evolution for Baynet in terms of, you know, if you want to compare it to Dusclops. So that's why I want Baynet to evolve. So the Pokemon to hit number 3 on my list is Absol, and Absol is hitting my list mainly because I feel that Game Freak just wasted so much potential on this Pokemon. Like, there was so much potential for this Pokemon to have a full evolution line, in my opinion, and I just feel that Game Freak completely wasted it. I would love to see a pre-evolution and possibly an evolution of Absol. Absol is definitely strong in the physical attack stat, no lie. Like, I have seen it in action, and it is pretty powerful, and it hits really hard. So I wouldn't necessarily, you know, say I would want an evolution, but I wouldn't mind seeing an evolution of Absol. But I would love to see a pre-evolution of Absol, because like I said, Game Freak just messed up. Game Freak messed up really bad here. Absol had so much potential to have a full evolution line, and they just kind of, you know, just let it go to waste. In my opinion, I just felt that they let it go to waste. So that's why I really want Absol to, you know, evolve and have a pre-evolution. So the Pokemon to hit number 2 on my list is Sableye, and before I talk about Sableye, let's get this out of the way. Oh my gosh, Sableye? Sableye doesn't deserve an evolution. Sableye has no weaknesses at all. It's too strong. You can't take it down with one hit. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about Sableye. Sableye has very lackluster stats, as you can see on the screen right here. It doesn't even break 400 in the base stat total. That right there just screams for evolution. That leaves so much more room for Sableye to get stronger. Now, the only reason why Sableye is as strong as it is right now, or let me not say strong, but it's used more often now, is because of its Dream World ability, Prankster. If you're not aware of what Prankster does, you have to know what speed priority is. Speed priority basically means, you know, a move can always go first or whatnot. Moves like Quick Attack and Extreme Speed, they always hit first because they have a higher speed priority. Well, Prankster lets status moves like Recover, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, and other moves go first. or have a higher speed priority. They have +1 speed priority, so they'll most likely go first, which makes Sableye a very tough Pokemon to deal with in competitive battle. But if we take out its prankster ability, Sableye isn't really used as often, but it does still have the stall ability, which, you know, then you can use with Metal Burst, but let's not go into that. But that's why I really want Sableye to have an evolution, because it has very lackluster stats, and without prankster, Sableye just isn't really a decent Pokemon to use. I mean, it's decent, but it still has a lot of room to get stronger. Not only that, but it has been rumored that Fairy type will be strong against Dark type. Rumored, okay, rumored. So if it is strong against Dark type, that means, you know, maybe it'll probably hit Ghost for normal damage. So then that would mean that Sableye would have a weakness. So then you can't use it. You can't use the excuse of it doesn't have a weakness in the argument. So there you go. And the Pokemon who hits #1 on this top 5 list is Malwa. And Malwa is hitting this list because look at its stats. It has very lackluster stats. You can tell me that Malwa is a good Pokemon, but from my perspective, Malwa isn't really that good. Now, design wise, I like Malwa's design. I like Malwa. I mean, I don't hate Malwa at all, but its stats, just from looking at its stats, it has a lot of room to evolve, to just, you know, it just has a lot of room to evolve. Not only that, but I mean, if Malwa is supposedly gonna get retyped as Fairy Steel or Steel Fairy, whatever, then come on, you can at least, you know, toss an evolution its way to make it a little bit more useful. Now, like I said, I don't hate Malwa, but I would just like to see Malwa evolve because, again, it has a lot of room for evolution. And that wraps it up for my top 5 Hoenn Pokemon that I would like to see evolve or get a pre-evolution in X and Y. And if you do not agree with my list, feel free to leave your own list in the comments. And also leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And stay tuned for my top 5 Sinnoh Pokemon that I would like to see evolve or get pre-evolutions in X and Y. And until next time, guys, peace.